this is Ronika Wahi. Today I'm back with another interview. This time it's with another writer, Mr. Harish Rajwani. He's been an IT professional for over 18 years and has primarily worked with the healthcare sector and has enabled many organizations in this sector to leverage technology for meeting their business goals. And he's been sharing his expertise as a faculty member at various institutions across the country and as a writer and also as a speaker at various conferences. So he's written blogs, he's written articles and books. His first book, Healthcare Decoded, was published in 2019. His second book, Technology to Business, The Invisible Gap, was published last year. And this year in April, he published his latest, Master the Mystic Arts, which is about demystifying the world of data science and artificial intelligence. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out the time for this interview.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, ma'am.
As I just mentioned, you've been talking about your experiences, you're sharing your expertise through your written word as well. So, talking about your professional experiences, you're talking about talking about your personal experiences. You're giving examples from healthcare sector, from business, from technology, besides other things that hold interest for you. And I think we can safely assume that your decade-long experience of teaching has helped you gain this tone that you're using in all your books, this tone of conversation as well as explanation that you're adopting. And it's almost as if you're anticipating questions that people would have and answering them. So, to what extent and in what ways do you yourself believe that all of your experiences have contributed uh, towards shaping your thought processes and your writing style?
So I started teaching when approximately 9 years ago. Okay. But to get that opportunity to take one lecture also, it took a lot of effort. It's not that easy. After I completed my MBA, I did a part-time MBA, 3 years NMIMS evening courses. I used to go from office to college from 6:45 to 9:15 in the evening. I used to go to my college. And after that, somehow I also wanted to, in parallel, uh, teach. And one of the main reasons was obviously one was to share my knowledge, but the other was also to improve as a speaker. The best opportunity to improve as a speaker is to really go in front of a crowd and speak. And the best way to do that is probably speak in front of students. Because you'll get the most weird questions when you speak in front of a student, because they'll ask you very unique questions which nobody will ask you possibly. So you have to be prepared. And when I started off my journey as a teacher, I was I'm not that good a speaker. When I started off, and I don't consider myself that great a speaker when I started off. I was literally scared. And one of my sessions, right, in the first year, in one of my sessions, even the student uh, told me that I don't understand one word of what you're saying. Okay, it was uh, well, in a way shocking, but it was also a feedback for me to see how do I really improve myself and how do I really change the way I teach, yeah, or even communicate or share my knowledge. So and I had, after this, right, I was teaching only one subject at that point of time, and it's called healthcare informatics. That is where my first book comes into healthcare. So for a couple of years, I was teaching in the same fashion. My presentations were not that great. I was still trying to see what can I do differently. And one year in my first company, we had a training. Yeah? We had a training specifically around presentation skills. And one of the books which was suggested was Made to Stick. If you've read the book, I'm not sure if you've read the book. It's called Made to Stick by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. It's one of the best books if you really want to understand how do you really market something, how do you bring an idea from reality and make it into something big. The subject itself is why do some ideas survive and why do some ideas fail. That's the subtitle of that particular book. So as part of that training, I really understood the meaning and the purpose of of those elements. How do I really speak something? How do I really share particular concept, right? That was one thing. The other thing, there was another training in my first organization itself, wherein the trainer was using a lot of games. Normally, HR people use a lot of games. So that is where I decided that I used to do a crossword in the last session of my class. I had 15 sessions. Even in the first year, I did a crossword just to check how much the students have really understood. So this one year, I used both these methodologies in terms of changing the way I'm actually explaining a concept using presentation. Because if you look at the presentation which I had when I started teaching for the first time, it had almost there was no space left on the slide itself to put anything. Normally, if you really want to present in front of a crowd, the presentation should have probably two concepts, maximum three concepts, right? And that too, when I think concepts, it could just be three words or three sentences. My presentation had almost everything in there. And it was like anybody could read it and just sleep on it. Okay, that is how it was. But that really made me change elements, especially that presentation, the way you explain your idea. Yeah, it's called presentation Maho. So the person, if you you had read the second book, right, Technology to Business, and Jagannath Chitam had taken that presentation skills, and I use that technique till now. Yeah, in any of my presentation, whenever I'm going to speak, I try and use that same methodology. So that made me change the way I explain my idea. Yeah, that I explain any concept, right? Everything became a story for me. Whatever, even if it's a complex concept, I try to share that complex idea in a story using images in a present. That is one thing I did. The other thing I did was I tried to add more interaction with my students. I tried to add more games, something where the student is more involved in whatever I'm.
Glad to know that when you teach students, you're sharing stories and you're making stuff more interactive. Now these days, particularly with online classes, I think it's becoming even more challenging to teach students. I'm a teacher. I teach at Delhi University, so it's I know you need to keep thinking about different activities, making trying to make students engage better, right, with different kinds of material. So what I'm interested in knowing is, like, the kind of examples you're using. So in this book that you've just released, Master the Mystic Arts, there is one. I mean, there are very interesting examples, but of course, Harry Potter is something everybody loves. So when we watch the movie, of course, it's something that we all understand that it's classification happening, right? The sorting hat, it has this access to huge amounts of data which it has collected over the centuries. Right? We're not very consciously trying to evaluate it, but when we read it in the context of data science, it's like it forms an immediate hook in the mind that yeah, this is you remember this kind of an example. That you can, this is classification, and then you further take it on to talking about k nearest neighbor, etc. Right? So um, uh, is this how you also try to grasp, evaluate, and retain concepts, or is it something that you've consciously adopted only for the benefit of the students and now for your readers?
So my students, right? My students are mostly non-technical people. Since I'm teaching healthcare, my students are mostly doctors, MBBS, BDS, somebody from a non-technical background, your BCom, a commerce background, pharmacy background, all those kind of people. Yes, some of them are from a technical background, from an IT background, but this is my biggest challenge. How do I really explain a technical concept to a non-technical person, right? That's been my biggest challenge, because I can come and say, okay, do this, do that, that's it, done. Yeah, from my side, I'm done. But it won't help them really understand the business or really understand the concept, why and what. So that has been So I consciously try and see what can I really relate it, right? How can I relate it to something easy? Because whenever if you talk about data science, if you're going to talk about data science to anybody, right, the first impression is going to be very complex, right? It's all mathematics that you wouldn't want to pick. If you really pick up any other book of data science, you will find that it is actually there's a lot of mathematics. The terminology which they'll use might not be, you might not be interested in reading the book itself. You might just take the book and keep it aside unless you're a big fan, you really want to get into that area, you'll pick that up and you'll take it forward. Right? So one of the things which I wanted to do was when I started writing the book, right, I wanted to take the concept but relate it to something very similar. And if you read the preface, I try and explain how, if you've seen the movie Karate Kid, yeah, either the first version or the second version, right? The latest version, wherein Will Smith's son is there. So in both of them, the students are told to follow some methodology, and only in the end they come to know that okay, this is what is karate, right? In the
Right.
same way, each of them, right? My book, every chapter starts with some kind of a story. Finding that story for me was actually a bigger challenge than really the next part, which is where I'm going to tie it together. You know, thinking about that story was a real challenge for me. Like, unless and until I don't find that link, it will still be another data science book only. It will become a textbook for that matter. You can pick it up and start reading, and there won't be any differentiation between this book and any other. So this book, even my nephew read it, at least some chapters he read it, and even he understood it, and he's almost 15 years old. For me, even if I'm able to explain it to a smaller, a, a, a group of students who are less than, 16, between the age of 12 to 16 also, then it will be a great thing for me that, okay, I'm able to really explain this concept to everybody. Not that complicated if you really think of it in a very different way.
Okay, so see, I mean, of course, the book is interesting to read because it's talking about taking examples from popular movies, TV shows. It picks up an interesting story of a lion and a fox and many other things, right? It talks about baking, which I think a lot of people have, now they have it as a hobby after the pandemic, right? So it is certainly something that's, going to connect with the audience. But apart from the fact that the book is easy to follow and it has interesting examples, um, why would you recommend this book to someone? I mean, see, essentially, that interest factor is one thing, but essentially, the book's main purpose is to provide information, provide knowledge on the basic concepts of data science. So, how do you believe your book wins against the other ones in this field?
So if you read the topic, right, rather the name of the book, Master the Mystic Art, the journey begins. There's a reason why I've said the journey begins, because
Right. It's
you can
things.
yeah, you can start your data science journey using this. I'm not saying that you'll become an expert using this, but for sure you'll be able to relate it to certain concepts in your everyday life. You might start thinking from that perspective. If you're going to look at any other book, they're going to tell you the mathematics. They There you'll have to really put in a lot of effort to see how do I relate this KNN to everything else, right? They just say KNN, K means, they'll use a lot of those technical jargons, which I have tried to avoid to a large extent, but I could not really avoid certain elements of the mathematics, right? Because that's core. Otherwise, there won't be that much value. It would just be a very simple, plain English book. So the one differentiation which I see, right, especially for non-technical folk, they also have a role to play in data science, because they have to really understand that there has to be a business need in the market for anybody to implement data science. If you look at Netflix, when I see Netflix in that matter, if you watch a comedy movie on Netflix, then Netflix uses something called as reinforcement learning. They understand your need. Based on that, they'll showcase another image. Let's say if
Right.
it's any other movie, right? They'll show you the image that you see will be customized to your uh, thought process. They'll probably show a
Right.
comedy scene on that particular image when you see that. So they are using that personalized touch for each and every one. So how do you really tie that business into this? That's what is going to help anybody. How do you relate those simple things which everybody is using? You might have seen this ad of what is this person's name? Ranbir Kapoor, right? He came on the Samsung TV where he was showing that you can put your hand and with like this, he was doing like this, and he was able to change channels. I think it was Samsung which television, I don't know. It was a one of those televisions. So underlying that is also using a data science. Those are real life examples where people are using, and you're seeing that in every day. As a business analyst, as a non-technical person, this will really help anyone. Need not be only a business analyst, but anyone who really wants to start their journey. Right? This can help you feel that. That's how I in that.
Okay. One thing that I'm interested in knowing is that, last time also when I was having this interview with Mr. Manish Sharma, this discussion on self-publishing versus traditional publishing came up. Right, so you have prior experience in self-publishing. Your first book itself was self-published, and now you've gone in for it again, and you're self-publishing on a different platform. It's Kindle, which is very popular for this. And if you've gone in for if you're taking up something again, you obviously saw some advantages to it. So if you could just share, what have you found the advantages in self-publishing that you've been choosing it?
So for self-publishing, I don't really have to wait for anyone to really publish my book. Right? That's an advantage. uh, I can publish whatever I like as long as it's in the right format and stuff. You have to do a lot of things on your own also. It's not that if you are a self-publisher, everything is great. The first time when I self-published my book, I had no idea. I just went and released the book. I didn't do anything at all. Okay. Even the print version, I wasn't even aware. The print version of my first book, right? It's not available directly in India at present. Yeah, and I'm working on that. Through certain Indian platforms like Pothi and others. So I was not aware of any of those when I did it for the first time. The second time I tried to do something better. I tried to actually uh, pre-plan and start the marketing stuff before I really release the book. Okay. And in this case, also I did the same thing. But this time, what I did was I published it on Kindle. I also published it on the print option using Pothi in India, and I also went and published the print option worldwide using Amazon. So my book is available through all three of them. But I will still say that I don't think I'm in the league of all the great authors which might be out there because I'm very small. I'm not so known to anyone. All right, I'm just a person who is trying to see if I can do something different in this. If I can make that, if I can share my knowledge in a very different way. And again, I believe it's going to take some time for me to really get the attention of people that, okay, you don't need to read everything in a very complex way. Imagine if somebody would have taught us history in a similar fashion. I would have probably remembered history in a very different way as compared to how I remember. There are a lot of challenges when you're doing self-publishing traditional. I have worked with a traditional publisher also. When I was in my engineering college, I was working on the second edition of a book called Electromagnetic Fields and Wave. With one of my professors. He was working on that. So we were working. I was revising the problems and everything. So I got a lot of interest in terms of writing at that point itself. But that book never came out for whatever reason. We tried to push the publisher a lot, but that book never came out. We tried to do that again after 6 years. I passed out of college in 2002. Again in 2008, 2009, we again tried to see if we can publish that book. We further worked on the content, but still it never came out. Okay, so there's a lot of dependency on a third person to approve something. People might want to do that, people might not want. They, for them, they have to see a value in whatever they do. For me, I have a platform where I can share my knowledge. But obviously, at some point of time, you do feel that okay, you need someone, a third person, to at least guide you and tell you this is what you need to do. So, how much ever I try, right? Ultimately, like you mentioned, in technology to business, the ultimate aim is how do I really sell this, right? Ultimately, everything is going to matter how much the sales of the book is. And to be fair, it's not that great. I've not been able to reach that point that okay, the sales is like skyrocketing. It's not that way. It's slow because many people are not aware. Even though I've tried to publicize it using PR and stuff, it still doesn't directly relate that okay, if I'm doing a PR, it's going to increase my sales. No, what I'm trying this time is along with pre-planning and marketing before I release the book, started to reach out to a lot of colleges and a lot of institutes, and I'm also trying to see if a corporate would also want to hear about my book. Yeah, so I'm trying to do those sessions and trying to see if after the release, right, you still have to continue a lot of effort to make that book success. I have a couple of friends who have done uh, traditional. They've also told me that even in traditional publishing, sales and everything, right, it is up to you only. It's you have to really market it. You have to try how you are continuously.
Okay, I'm glad you shared this experience about marketing of your books, because I think you've also talked about marketing in your book, Technology to Business: The Invisible Gap, how important it is to have the right strategies. You may develop an excellent product, but unless and until it sells, right, it's of no value. And that is, I think, a challenge a lot of writers have been facing. They spend a lot of time in writing the book, time, effort, resources, and then getting it edited or proofread, or doing it themselves. Anyway, they do it, and then they face this trouble that they're not able to market, right? Not able to sell. So you're targeting the kind of audience who will be interested, or might be interested in stuff of this kind. But can you share some general tips for writers who are writing for other fields? But what are the kind of strategies that they could adopt for marketing their stuff, for just to have some wider reach? What are other things that writers could do, which could possibly help them, improve their sales? Because if they don't, get enough marketing for their books, it's in a way, that they're not getting the rewards for the kind of effort and resources that they've actually invested in creating that
So one
thing.
thing is you have to continuously talk about it. You have to
Right.
find platform where you can continuously talk about your book, whatever you've written. I've tried also marketing through LinkedIn, Twitter ads, LinkedIn ads, and as well as through Facebook ads. Right? Especially on Facebook, you get only likes, you don't get sales. I've also tried through Instagram influencers. Right? There too, my experience has been that people will like the post, but hardly anybody will go and buy. So to increase sales, I'm also still figuring it out. I wouldn't say that I'm like uh, out there, but I'm also still figuring it out, and that's why what I'm trying to do, right? I've noticed my first book, even though I did not publicize it much, it still sells. It might not be that great, but two, three like that, and people still go and buy it. The reason being, I am talking about healthcare every month.
Okay.
So that is where people, and though it's a very niche market, it's very niche. Not everybody is going to talk about healthcare IT. still people go and buy that book because especially a lot of students who are looking at getting into healthcare IT, they still go and buy that. And which is where I feel I don't talk about that much of about my second book, but I'm talking about my third book a lot, which is where I feel it might help me at least get to a certain level of sales. So you have one of the best things you have to do is you have to continuously find platforms to talk about it. That is the only way I feel you will be able to get that word of mouth and people will start talking about it. If you're going to just say that okay, I did 5 sessions, okay, done. As of now, I have spoken at three three colleges till now. 3 or 4 colleges. I have two others which are coming up. I'm also trying to reach out to international colleges because this subject is very relevant as compared to the other two books. The subject is very relevant. Everybody wants to understand about it. Even if a person is from non-technical background, they still want to understand what is data science. But they don't. They want. They might get deterred when they look at a very technical and complex book. And that's USP. That's what I'm trying to see. That's what I'm trying to really share. If you have read the foreword as well from Sanjeev Menon, right? So he also kind of says it in that same way that he's never seen a data science book wherein you're explaining stories and linking it to the complex concepts. And that's what I uh, would like to reach out to, and the best way is to try and see. I also tried through platforms like ReadZ. But I've not really gone forward with that. That's a complete different market. What I got from them was that they'll share a plan with me, but you have to execute the plan. Whatever points were written in that plan, I was already aware of. I have attended a lot of webinars of other authors that okay, you do this, your sales will increase. We give free book, but I don't believe giving it for free is going to increase your sales.
Right.
Rank on Amazon might increase for one day,
Right.
but it will not increase your sales. Especially when you look at the Indian market. Sorry to say this, but most of the Indian the mindset is more that unless and until you don't get something for free, you will want it. Yeah? To large extent, that's how the mindset is. But yes, that's and again the other aspect is trying to sell Kindle itself. Not many people in India really use it. Everybody is more interested in print version. That's why I try to do something different. That's why I try to use the Indian print on demand option of both.
Okay, so thank you for sharing from your experiences. So this is one challenge, right? I mean, this is after the publishing of the book that I think all writers face this challenge of trying to make their book known and appreciated, right? And of course, having more sales. But if we talk about the writing process itself, as a writer who's focusing on his work, for you, what has been the greatest challenge? Has it been about the craft itself? Has it been about choosing the right subject for your next work? Has it been about overcoming your some reservations that you may have of your own, or is it about something else?
So my first book, it was easy for me to write. Okay, it was very easy for me to write. I've been teaching that. I've been in that space. When I started writing it, I was in the space for almost 17 years in healthcare writing. So that was easy for me to write. The second book was also quite easy for me to write because it's again related to something which I've already written few, 8 years back, and I just refined it to a certain extent. The challenge for me was possibly in this book, Master the Mystic Arts, because I wrote this completely from scratch, and though it took me like it didn't take that long, it took me 4 to 5 months, but the biggest challenge in that was how what concept should I relate it to, right? If I'm going to even if I have to talk about the first chapter, right? The first chapter is talking about Alan Turing. It's primarily explaining how the Second World War was actually won. how do I really explain that concept with anyone? Yeah, I was watching this movie. I was watching Avengers, and I'm not sure if a lot of people might not have watched it. But when I was watching Avengers, the part where this Doctor Strange, he's looking into the future. He's looking into the future, and he sees 14 million options, and out of this, only one option is going to work for them. That is when I was seeing that movie in September. That is what when I got the idea. That, okay, this should be my starting point. Okay, that's when I get an idea that okay, this is what I should talk about. So unless and until I don't get that idea right, I get a mind block. I get a writing block. What should I start with? And otherwise, I don't know what. Otherwise, I have the second part is easy. That's what I'm telling you. That explain the technical concept is easier, but from where do I really start? That becomes a very biggest challenge for me. What this is what I did was for each of the topic that I wanted to cover, I created an Excel sheet. I wrote down that okay, for this topic, this should be the analogy. Because my book is all about analogies. It's all
Right.
about how to really explain one complex concept using a simple analogy. And for every concept, so the most challenging was possibly the chapter on clustering. That is where I'm talking about the sports day. Okay. And the final chapter, where I'm really talking about a very complex concept called CNC. How do I really talk about that? So that is where and again, I'm watching a movie, watching Kindergarten Cop, and that is where I said, okay, this is what really happens. Yeah, when you're teaching a child, how do you really teach a child ABCD? Nobody will remember how you taught ABCD because it's become ingrained in your mind. That's how you actually train a machine. Yeah, when you show an image of an alphabet a thousand times, 10,000 times, the machine knows this is an A.
Right.
For me, the biggest challenge was the starting point. How do I relate it to a certain?
Okay. So, you have years of experience, right? You started, you got interested, like you shared during your MBA, you were already working on a book. And then you've written blogs in the past few years, you've written articles for various forums, including LinkedIn, and you've written 3 books now. So, from your journey, if you could share some do's and don'ts that you've chalked out for yourself for new aspiring writers.
So if you're a new writer, I would say don't do everything on your own. Don't go and create your own book cover. Yeah. If you're going to do that, it might not look so great. You should definitely take help from anyone to create that book cover. I use Grammarly to review the language. You can also take help from a uh, proofreader. Yeah. So even if you're doing something self-published, you don't need help. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything on your own. Yeah, you should do some level of PR. I did that last year. I did that this year as well. Yeah, it's again being an author need not mean that only you're writing something. It's also that you're building your own brand. So you definitely need to do these stuff things on your, and you can't go and put a pamphlet in a newspaper and send it across to anyone. Yeah. You have to make people aware that you are there. You need to find out ways and means by which you can reach out to these. My book is very different than any other novel that might be there. Even though I'm portraying it as, something like a novel, because it's more like a storytelling methodology. But I cannot really go and sell it like a novel, to be frank. I cannot really go and sell it like that. So you have to find out the right audience for you. You have to find out ways and means by which you can reach out to the right audience. So don't you you should attend some of those webinars people do, because there are these free author webinars that you, even though they say in the end that you come and join, we'll publish your book for you and stuff. You can join. You can at least hear the webinar even if you don't want to really go and, because they do explain a lot of steps, what you should do, what you should not do. Yeah. You should attend those. If you're doing something on Amazon, especially on Kindle, you might get a lot of issues. Because you have to format the book in a specific structure. Otherwise, this time when I published the book, it actually took around 8 to 10 days for it to really. There were some issues in the book, some of the content or some. I mean, the Amazon and themselves were not able to explain it. It took 8 to 10 days to really release the book site or pre-booking also. So you need to be aware that you might face some challenges, especially if you're working on Kindle. The best way is to contact Amazon, to write to them. They'll definitely help you out. Don't assume that you're alone. You have to go and find your support for yourself. Be it a person who's going to help you create the book cover, or a proofreader, or somebody who's going to help you do the PR. Find that particular person who can help you. It's not going to be one person. You should create your own team for yourself, which you can, reach out to and take help from.
Okay, any final thoughts you'd like to share, or anything about your writing that you'd like to share with the viewers?
My writing, I think my writing is quite different because I'm taking very, the topic itself is very different. Yeah, and it's probably a hard sell for a lot of people. But the way I write it is trying to really connect a story to a concept. Recently, I published an article on my website. And one more point which I wanted to mention is you should definitely also invest in having a website of your own if you are really trying to build your own brand. If you're trying to be an author, you should definitely have a website of your own. Okay, that helps. So you don't have to really depend on LinkedIn or any other place to really share your ideas or thoughts. So I recently published one article where I'm talking about time series forecasting. But the topic is Summer of 92, where I am explaining how when I was 13 years old, I used to visit my aunt's house and we used to go to a temple. It was around 60 kilometers from Baroda. Okay? And we had to climb 2000 steps. So I'm using this story to actually explain this concept. So what is important is for any author, how do you find that connection related to what you like? Because ultimately you're going to share your experience, your knowledge. Last point which I wanted to share was this particular dashboard. So if you look at this dashboard, I am talking about all these elements. I'm talking about all these characters which are there in my book. So here you see Remy, where I'm explaining a concept of neural network using cooking. Yeah, we're talking about the sorting hat, where I'm talking about classification. I'm also talking about forecasting using weather. Yeah, so here you see this information coming up here. I'm using a lot of stories related to something which we have studied when as children, yeah, Panchatantra, Aesop's fables or Hitopadesh. Then I'm talking about the kindergarten cop. If you see over here, you see, well, it's a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger, not really the actual photograph. So here, right, if you move your mouse over any of these characters or any of these icons, you will see some information related to this particular book. All of these also, right, some of the stories, or for that matter the movies, whatever I'm using, right, it's talking about that. It's giving a brief idea about my book. It's like a summary of my book. If you click on this image, you will also be able to read at least 2 chapters of my book. Yeah, this is a Kindle preview of the book which is there. It's also there on uh, go to the website, you can also read that. So here you get the idea what the book is really about. That's all I wanted to actually share.
Right, so this can also be used to generate interest in your book, right? So this is one of
Yes,
the ways that writers can
yes.
use to creatively market their stuff.
The reason why I actually made this Tableau dashboard, one of the reasons why I made this was, so Tableau is a reporting tool. It's a business intelligence and reporting tool, a dashboarding tool. And they have this concept, or they have this option wherein you can submit a dashboard where it can come as part of their gallery, and they tweet about it. So if I am able to really prove that, I mean, assuming that they find this dashboard really good and nice and neat, they will themselves publish it, or they will themselves promote it to the others. That was the reason why I have built this Tableau dashboard, with the hope that they'll also help me promote this book. Right? It'll again reach to the right audience, because the people who are going to be working or using this tool will definitely have a lot of interest in data science. So that's where I'm trying to reach the right audience who might be interested in reading this book. So it again ties back to the point that I shared, that you have to find the right audience. You have to find the way in reaching your audience. That's what I'm trying to do here.
Right. Great. This is something very interesting you've shared, and I think this can be useful for at least some writers. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your insights. If you want to see my review on Mr. Rijwani's books, you can find them in the description box. The reviews on Technology to Business, The Invisible Gap, as well as on his latest, Master the Mystic Arts. And you'll also find the Amazon links for both the books if you wish to buy them and read them. And if you enjoyed watching this video, please do like, share, and subscribe.